Oh, man, is that bad. I wish it would go away. Oh. They could do a movie on this, call it Cocaine Chicken.
Welcome to Hot Seat, where we ask spicy questions and eat spicy wings. My name is Jesse Bocanegra, alongside the teaching pastor of Faith Bible Church, Chris Mueller. Chris, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great, Jesse. I'm so excited about being on the hot seat.
We're excited. My goodness, we are headed into a dating series, and so we're going to be asking the elders of Faith Bible Church questions about dating and their dating life. Let's jump into it. The first wing that we've got is just a no flavor wing.
Flavor.
Yeah, we're starting off really easy, but this is courtesy of Wingstop. So let's dive in.
Oh, good work.
It's a little cold. Chris, how did you start dating your now wife, Jean?
Well, she was my secretary.
Okay.
I had a lot of accountability because I was a pastor at Grace Church. So anyway, I waited a long time until I couldn't stand it any longer. And I finally asked permission.
Who'd you ask?
I asked Tim Jack, who was the guy over the youth ministry, had been there a long time, and I asked John MacArthur. And they both had the same reaction. They rolled back in their seat, they laughed out loud, and they said, "What took you so long?" I said, "I don't." I said, "Okay, sounds good." So then I went on a picnic with her, and we took a couple of kids out and flew kites and had a picnic, and then I told her I liked her in a special way.
What'd she say?
She told me she liked me in a special way.
Okay.
And we were off and rolling.
Really? It was official right then and there?
Right then there, boom,
and
bada
you
boom.
guys were boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of jumped right in. We were a little older, you know. I was, I think when we got married, 24 and she was 26.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
She's an older woman, the cougar, you know, so yeah.
Okay. Stepping up the heat just a little bit is Frank's Red Hot.
Wow.
Frank's Red Hot. Not to be confused with the Frank's Red Hot buffalo sauce. It's just the classic hot sauce.
Red Hot.
You ready?
Take a bite?
Took the small one. Okay, yeah, go.
Tasty. Wow.
Okay. Chris, how does someone know if they have the gift of singleness?
Oh, man. Well, there's two major issues. One, obviously, providence dictates that there's really no person that that you meet with that just ever connects. It just doesn't seem like somebody that you can minister with, care about, and be with 24/7. And then secondly, it's typically desire. Sometimes that's not the case, but sometimes it is. That there's just no desire for be in that relationship or to be for intimacy, that kind of stuff. There's just not a lot of desire. Now that's not always the case, but providence is the biggest one. That it's like God just didn't provide that person that's that ultimate fit for you, that combo that you serve Christ better together than you would separately. Yeah,
and if they are single right now, maybe not with the gift of singleness, but they're single right now, what advice would you say you have for them in their time of singleness?
Singleness is to be pursued, like marriage. Yeah, to have a great marriage, you pursue it, you go after it when you're in it. Not that you're trying to get married, but once you are married, you work at your marriage. Well, if you're going to be a good single person, you got to work at singleness. And working at singleness means you have this unbelievable, undistracted devotion to the Lord. 1 Corinthians 7:35. You just go after it, buying up every opportunity to serve Christ, to do things that you can do as a single that you can't do as a married. You can't just pop off and go anywhere you want. When you're married, you have to care for your wife or your husband and your kids and all the obligations financially. But as a single, you can take off and I'm going to go for 3 months and minister overseas somewhere, or I'm going to have a 5-hour quiet time. You can't have that when you have 3 little kids. You're fighting for every second you can get. So that undistracted devotion to the Lord, massively important.
Yeah. Stepping up the heat once again.
The nose isn't running yet, but I'm feeling that it's coming. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So far.
The next one is sriracha. So it's got an Asian zing to it.
Okay.
It's barely a little bit higher in the Scoville units, but yeah, let's try it.
Tasty.
That is good. What do you think are the qualifications for a guy to date a girl? What do they need to have in place?
Well, definitely, we're talking about Christians here. So he's got to be born again, or he wants to obey God. He wants to pursue the Lord. And you can tell. It's not a guy that he just jumps through the hoops, but it's a guy who goes, I want to please Christ. When no one's looking, I want to please Christ. And like David says, I walked within my house in integrity. Nobody was watching, but he'd walk pleasing to the Lord. So that's probably the main thing, is that a guy's like, I live to please Christ. And then hopefully, obviously mental, social, physical, just a level of maturity, where they're kind of not stabilized, they're growing, they're, becoming that man that God wants them to be. At the same time, they're seeing some progress there. So some stability, that's just not wacky, that people avoid them because they're just socially different or mentally they're, a little loopy. So obviously there would be that, a guy has character and he wants to pursue Christ. You can tell that he's in the Word, he's in prayer, he's dependent. He doesn't trust himself. And so as he doesn't trust himself, he's going to guard what he says and what he does. So he's protective. He's not going to violate a relationship, make promises that he shouldn't, give gifts that he shouldn't, spend too much time that he shouldn't, because he understands and doesn't trust himself. And that's where a level of maturity, where a lot of guys are like, I'm just going to jump in and go what I feel, what I want to do, what I desire to do. And that's just really bogus.
Stepping up the heat one more time. We're going to Cholula.
Okay.
Cholula. So we're going to the people like me from south of the border. This is going to have a little bit more of a Mexican flair to it.
Well, my wife and I, we live on Cholula.
Okay.
You take a half a bite, huh?
I do.
Cram the whole thing?
It's definitely spicier than what we've had so far.
Yeah, but Cholula's my life. We're on a first name basis.
You in Cholula? What are the differences between courting, dating, and special friends?
Courting, typically, everybody defines it a little different. Courting seems to have involvement of the parents. Dating seems to be very independent, based on, the guy and the gal getting time together. And special friends is where you've kind of isolated an individual, where you're like, we're just going to spend a little bit more time together, and there's almost an exclusivity to it, where you're really not going to be dating other people. So you're like, this is my special friend. I'm going to spend special time with them and get to know them a little bit better, that kind of thing.
And what did you have you have two boys? What was the process like with them? Did they court, date? We
really encouraged them to not date a lot when they were in high school or junior high. They still had some special friends, but we asked them kind of not to do that until they had enough maturity where they could really pursue things well and do it right. And they did pretty good with that. They did have special friends, but they were told by really godly college freshman gals and high school senior gals when they were in junior high. They said, remember how you liked somebody when you're in elementary school, and then you look back at junior high and you go, that was really immature. And then you really liked someone in junior high, and when you got to high school, you went, man, that was really immature. And they said, a lot of that goes on in high school too. You want to be really careful. You don't want to mess people up. You always got to make sure that anytime you deal with someone of the opposite sex, if that's not your wife, you're treating them as, you need to treat them as if they're someone else's wife or someone else's husband. And if you don't know that they're going to be your wife and husband, then you better be really careful. You don't want to mess with God's people. And so I just asked the boys to kind of hold off, and it was tough. It was difficult at some points because they did form some good relationships and attachments. But by the time they got to college, then they could date whenever they pursued that. And
Let's increase the heat. This is Tapatio. So it's Cholula's cousin.
Okay.
Or husband, depending on who you ask. So still sticking with south of the border. Now I will warn you, this does have a little bit more of a kick because it's combined with a little bit of a mango heat.
So
it's a special edition.
So far, I'm not dead.
How's that heat hitting you?
It's good. We also are very attached to Mr. Tapatio.
Are you?
At home.
That's good. It'll linger and it'll just it'll come up.
That's got some stuff.
What are some of your best memories from dating Gene? What sticks out as the top?
I don't know about the top, but we officially kind of made it a boyfriend-girlfriend thing, and we sealed it with Jack in the Box shakes.
Okay. So that was after the picnic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, after we told each other we liked each other, we kind of sealed it with the shakes. And that was back when Jack in the Box had the best shakes. So, yeah.
Arguably still do.
I don't know if that's true, but back then they did. I'm trying to think of, massive events that we had that were super highlights. We just enjoyed each other. We were trying to figure out whether we should be ministering together. We were. She was, I think, in high school ministry, and I was in junior high pastor.
Oh, okay.
We didn't actually have the same ministry at the same time. When I became the junior high pastor, she had moved on. She'd already been there for 5 years. I moved on to high school ministry. We would spend our weekends. We liked going to the drive-in back in the old days.
What year was that?
Well, that was in the 70s.
Wow.
No, actually early 80s. So 81, 79, 80, 81.
What movies did you see?
I don't know. We would always go see a Disney movie. I remember, I don't know if it was Flight of the Alligator, like a Disney flick. I don't know. Anything that was out during that period of time.
Moving up the heat a little bit more. How you doing with that heat?
I'm doing good. A little
Okay.
nose running, but
Yes.
not a big thing.
This is Wingstop's mango habanero flavor.
Okay.
It is the second hottest on their chart.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
No. Wow.
So big.
No, a big piece. I know. No,
Okay.
working for me.
Should a guy or a girl, what should they look for in the other person, and does it have to involve physical attraction? Do you have to be physically attracted to somebody in order to know that's the person that God has willed for you to date and eventually marry?
Yes. Yes.
Now, what would you say to someone who says that's vain because beauty is fleeting and they won't always look the same?
Well, my wife doesn't look the same. I still think she's hot, and I think you choose to view someone in a lens of beauty. But I think if you were not attracted to someone, I don't think God intends for you to be together. I just don't. And everybody has someone that's attracted to them. Everybody, every person, there's always someone that finds them beautiful. I believe that with all my heart.
Yeah. Do you think that it's okay for someone to say, I have a type?
Oh, I think that's dumb. Because I think that what's interesting is I think you can say, well, I kind of like this kind of gal, or that kind of style, or whatever, or, this kind of shape, or this kind of height, or this kind of hair, or this kind of look. I think you have to trust that the Lord is going to bring that person that may not be your type, but they become the person that you think is the most beautiful in the world. But I do think that we really highly recommend couples not to get married if they don't find themselves each other attractive. I know that sounds very vain, external. It's not. It's just that when God puts you and connects you with somebody, you're going to delight in them. And I think part of that is their appearance to you is going to be, again, to you. You find them extremely attractive. And you say, well, what about their personality and what about their spirituality? All that figures in to me in that attractiveness. It's you don't just look at the externals, you're looking at the total person, and you don't marry a body, you marry a person. And so, they may be super attractive, but they have a horrific personality. And I dated some 10 models. I mean, massively beautiful women on planet Earth.
Okay.
Massively.
How did it go?
And they just were flat personalities, weird spiritual life, super insecure, all that kind of stuff. And I went, this wasn't for me.
I did a lot of models too.
You dated a lot of models?
Yeah.
Brooke and then Brooke and then Brooke?
Yeah, pretty much. Married
Okay.
model. But yeah, junior high Jesse. I mean, I had earrings and.
Oh, nice.
Did you know that?
I did not know
You
that.
could still put them in my ears.
That's okay.
Thank you.
John Plesnick had a ponytail, so there you go.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
We need some picture evidence of
Yeah,
that.
we do.
Breaking news.
I might
ladies
have
and
one.
gentlemen.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, we'll put it on the screen. If we
Sure.
find it. Okay, let's step up the heat.
Okay.
This is the next one. This
Okay.
is Katrina Hot Sauce. This is what they say is a killer hot sauce, category 5 flavor, category 3 heat. It's got a bourbon base, so you might pick up some
So
of that.
drunken chicken.
Drunken chicken.
Yeah.
It's from Louisiana.
Or is this
actually.
cocaine chicken? Yeah.
They say
Like a movie that the bird attacks you.
no, it's not cocaine.
Oh, this is hot.
That's from it's from Louisiana.
Oh yeah, this is painful a little bit.
But it's got the Louisiana kick.
Uh-huh.
What is defrauding, and how do you avoid defrauding?
Oh man. Well, defrauding is taking something that doesn't belong to you. It's basically that person you're dating, guy or gal, they're not yours. They're yours when they walk down the aisle and say, I do. I'm giving myself to you, and vice versa. Until then, you don't take what belongs to somebody else. That's somebody else's wife, that's somebody else's husband. To defraud is take not what's yours. Now, obviously, physical sin, sexual sin.
I'm sorry, it's spicy for you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, okay.
killing me.
Keep going. I'm just trying to wrangle myself back in. You might do better than I will. Yeah, so
So-
physical sin, sexual sin.
Yeah,
defrauding.
but it's also, You're making promises, you're saying, how many kids do you want? You're talking about stuff that doesn't really belong to you. You're making promises, you're giving gifts that don't belong to you. You're spending way too much time that a couple would, normally even a married couple wouldn't spend that much time together. So time, gifts, and promises. Time, gifts, and promises.
TGP.
Yeah, so if you give her a diamond ring, that's a promise.
So wait, this is the big question in high school ministry is, when we're dating, give a girl a promise ring?
No.
Is that kind of the essential?
Don't do it. Don't. Why? You wanna.
What would you say about? We're talking about gifts. Maybe it's not a gift, but prom, for example, is a big thing in high schoolers' life. They have to pay for their date's ticket, $175. They have to pay for their limo. They have to pay for all these things. Prom adds up to being $1,000.
Wow, that's a lot.
What wisdom do you have on that? Is there a danger of defrauding when you start to
say,
yeah, you're my date, I'm paying for this?
Well, there's this almost an expectation too in your flesh for a guy. I paid for this, and there's an expectation of return. So that's especially from a secular guy. And then obviously you're making a huge investment. It should be where you're just incredible friends and you're going to have incredible time together, or there's a sense of expectation that that you guys have been committed for a long time and this relationship's going to continue to grow and parents are all supportive and all that kind of stuff. But I don't see it being just a casual thing. It just seems like it's so expensive for just a casual thing. I don't know, just a thought. I mean, it's off the top of my head. It doesn't mean I'm going to try to ruin prom for anybody.
Sure.
But
well, you have to be okay with dancing in the first place.
Well, and yeah, that's a whole different discussion, which I'm totally for.
Stepping up the heat, believe it or not, once again.
I'm not always for the environment that dancing is in, but I'm for it. People having a good time.
Well, okay, but before we eat this, then, what environment makes dancing not good?
When it's just sexually charged and the lyrics and the music are really promiscuous and dark. There's all kinds of things that would create that, or mosh pits and all that kind of stuff. There's just or it's drinking, or there's all kinds of stuff going on where it's like, this is really not a place for a believer to be.
Okay,
that's all.
Got it. Stepping up the heat.
You took the smaller one.
Yeah. So this is the hottest sauce that they have at Wingstop. It's called Atomic Hot.
Okay.
And it's awful. It is awful.
Really?
Yeah. So let's do this thing.
I'm excited.
Okay.
We didn't eat the whole thing.
Listen, you don't gotta call me out in front of the camera.
Oh, I don't want to call you out?
Oh,
no, it's fine.
No.
I just thought, if I'm going to suffer, you need to suffer.
Oh, we're about to suffer big time. Oh, man. What?
I'm going to need another Coke.
Waiter. What role should the parents play in dating? And how does a high school student initiate that to get their parents or the other person's parents involved, and what should that involve in?
Well, hopefully the ideal family would be there's already a relationship between the parents and the student where they can talk about anything and everything. And if that's not the case, then it might be that you start wanting to talk about that even prior to that happening. You want to talk to your folks about, hey, how was your dating relationships? What did you guys do? How did you maintain it? And it may be that the parents are going to say, well, we've failed a lot. We weren't saved or whatever. But there might be, a charge of really opening up relationship between your parents by saying, hey, what's the best way to do this? What would you recommend? How would you guide me on this? And what about this? And ask all the hard questions. So I think it's really, there are some parents that just don't want to enter in. They're embarrassed, or they're just keeping themselves aloof or removed. And that's why you have high school staff. That's why you have other parents that are involved in the high school ministry for you to talk to. But ideally, your own parents would enter into that situation and offer you wisdom and let you know, hey, it seems like you're moving too fast, or you're crossing certain lines, that kind of stuff.
And do parents have the trump card? If you're down the road and you like this girl, you like this guy, your parents come in and say, we don't want you to date them, you're not ready. Is that definitive? Do they have to go, okay, I'm completely out, or is there room to?
Well, I think you can talk to them reasonably and manage your relationships. And a lot of times you have expectations and your emotions are going way ahead of you. But obviously the Bible would say you need to obey your parents.
Yeah.
And while you're living at home, you have to. At the same time, you want to create an environment where you can, and hopefully parents are not treating you as if you're a fourth grader. And so you're now an adult and you're working this through. And so there's hopefully some reasoning and working through it.
Yeah.
The end result is, the bottom line is that parents can still pull the, you know, you need to obey me if you're going to be living here and you're going to call yourself a Christian. At the same time, there's an element of you want to draw out wisdom and say, what are you seeing? You know, what is it that you see in me or in them that causes you this great concern?
Yep. We are stepping up the heat yet again. This is called Black Garlic Bravo Spice Co. Carolina Reaper.
Reaper,
The Reaper
makes me nervous.
They say it's the world's hottest pepper.
Oh gosh.
And this has got a savory black garlic with a hint of sweet maple. This hot sauce will shake you to your core. And to make things worse, this has just been coating a atomic hot. So it's a double. It's a double. Okay, it's very dark.
You got the small one there.
I know, pretty even, huh?
Yeah, we got get a little of that sauce off of there.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh.
We got ice cream if we need it. We're gonna need the wet wipes right there.
Oh my goodness, this is bad.
Wet wipes if you need them.
This is bad.
Oh, it's really bad. Careful with your around the eyes if you touch your face. Oh man. Oh man, it's all bad. Okay. Never wipe your nose with the wet wipe, by the way. That was a really bad decision.
Oh.
Chris, have you ever been through a breakup?
Yeah.
Talk to us about it. What happened? Careful.
Up into the sinus cavities. Wow. Okay. Wow. It's everywhere.
You're just laughing behind the camera. What happened in the breakup?
What happened to that chicken?
This is so hot. Whose fault was the breakup? What happened? Was it mutual?
Oh, there was one. I had some messy relationships. I was trying to do things right as a Christian, and that's remarkably painful.
Water, yeah.
Ice cream. Ice cream. Yeah.
Do you need some water?
I need some ice cream.
It hurts to swallow.
So good.
Okay, time to get serious.
So helpful. So there was one gal who, her dad was a famous Baptist leader.
Okay.
And
how famous?
Pretty famous. Pretty famous. No, B-list. In the Baptist circles, big time.
Okay.
She wanted me to be she wanted me to be Baptist.
And you're not?
I'm not. Never gonna be.
Okay. But you baptize people.
I baptized, but it was a theological package that came with it, and certain traditions that came with it that was not going to be part of Chris's life. Are you okay?
Oh,
did you throw up?
No, we had the same thought to reach for that.
Anyway, so that I kind of we let it kind of drift. She actually, we were dating up at Hume Lake, and then we came home to our prospective churches, and we just kind of let it fade.
So you didn't make it official, this is over? Oh man.
Well, I think we kind of talked about you could date other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what advice do you have for a high schooler who needs to break up with somebody?
I think it's best if high schoolers don't pair off. I do. I think it's best. Yeah. But if you do, again, if you haven't violated promises and gifts and time, in other words, you haven't defrauded, then breaking up is saying, you know what, this is probably not best for us both, probably not honoring to the Lord, so you can step away. Does that make sense?
So painful. You're doing way better than me.
I'm telling you, this thing's got a kick to it. That's a mean sauce.
That's not even the worst one. It's about to get worse. But, so this is a special question before we got to the last one. How many of those relationships did you actually have? You said 10 models earlier. There's a really
10 models? Did I say 10?
You said you dated 10 models.
No, well, they were number 10. You know what I mean? They were on the scale of most beautiful people on the planet.
Oh, they were a 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Got it. How many relationships did you have, though, that were, maybe not necessarily dating, but they were definitely, there was that emotion and thought?
I don't know, maybe 5.
They all fizzled out, they faded, they didn't have an official, this is over?
Like the first one, as a Christian, she ended up being a missionary over in Germany or something like that. So it just kind of, we drifted apart. There was a gal that I pursued a long time that just wasn't interested in me. And then, yeah, it was painful. And that was really interesting is that when I started dating Jean, she actually said, hey, I'm ready to date. I'm ready to pursue this relationship. I can see this going, you know, and pursuing. And I looked at her and I said, I'm a one woman man. And so I'm going to pursue this relationship with Jean, see where it leads. And if it leads to marriage, it means the marriage. But I'm not going to dump her to date you, even though I had pursued her for probably 3-4 years.
There you have it.
That was a weird event. I'm telling you, that was really strange.
Things worked differently back then, though, didn't they?
A little bit.
So this is the final one.
This is like really bad.
Yes, and
see, the last one was really bad, so this must be really, really bad.
well, what they do is on the last one they call it the last dab, and so they put an extra dab on top. You don't have to do it.
I don't want you to do it.
I'm gonna do it. The
Really?
guests typically do it.
They
as
do?
a tradition.
Okay, fine.
So
Put a
I'm
dab.
gonna put a little dab on mine.
Okay.
I'll allow you to do whatever
Really?
you want on yours. Yeah.
Man.
This is the bomb beyond insanity.
Smallest possible dab possible. There we
There you go. You've done a great job in this interview. You've stayed strong. How old are you?
I am 67 years old.
67, and you are taking on one of the fiercest, most painful hot sauces in the game right now. We've got Frescas for you. We've got French vanilla ice cream. We also have a drumstick if you need it.
I think I'm going to need the drumstick.
There is ranch if you just want to drink the ranch.
Oh, okay. It's that bad?
This is it. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
You want to cheers it? You're gonna dip?
Well, can I? Or is that bad?
I'm gonna do whatever you do, so I'm following you.
Really?
You
Well,
wanna go
I don't
straight
want to
for
be.
it?
I don't want to violate the high school prerogative here. I mean, I got to do what you want me to do.
I want to keep you safe.
Yeah.
But if you
Like
wanna
it's that bad? I mean, is this like heart attack? What are we talking about here?
This is not great. Okay. So
Okay.
Ranch, I'll go ranch.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. Okay. Are you serious? You're gonna call me out?
Oh, this is a violation of all that's natural and good.
Last thing. This camera right here. What would you like to say to the FBC High School Ministry?
I think the high school ministry is one of the most awesome ministries at our church. It is filled with students that I love and respect. And I'm not sure that any of them would eat this hot sauce. Oh. Man, is that bad. They could do a movie on this, call it Cocaine Chicken. Oh. Is this doing damage to me internally? Oh my gosh. I wish it would go away. Oh. Wow. Whoa, this one's melty. What's gonna make it go away?
What do you got to say to the high school? Do this.
I think I already said great things because they're great.
I'm sweating.
Somebody else has eaten this
Oh,
in our high school, our pastoral staff?
not yet.
Wow.
Final thing, Chris. Give us a glimpse into your life. What's going on right now? What are you thinking about? What's coming up next?
Well, so many things. I was just, that's painful. We're thinking about our church size and trying to facilitate how to care for people better. And how we'll do that is probably not make them eat this. This right here, the bomb, okay? Yeah, I think this should be destroyed. I'm concerned about wrapping up Galatians and starting the summer series on the Old Testament, and then Sermon on the Mount in the fall. Training center, you know, kicking into year 2 without John Plesnick because he'll be on sabbatical. That'll be big. I should have got a fresh one. And wanting to make sure that we're helping people who are faithful family and members to, be cared for, remain as family, and then how to involve other people and bring them in as family, and then always thinking about how we can reach those who are lost. Never is ever far from my thinking ever. I'm, whether it's through the high school ministry, junior high ministry, our church in general, different ways that we can reach out to the community, especially now that we'll have our own facility coming up. That's going to change a little bit how we actually can do different things to reach out to the community as well. So that's it. Thinking about dying, going home to heaven. Hardly wait. And then, when that day happens, don't be sad. I'll be happier than you. This belongs in hell. This is not part of heaven.
You're not dead yet. Though it feels like we're dying.
No.
Thanks for doing this. You've shown the young people in our church, who you really are.
Yeah, really.
A warrior, a youth pastor at heart, and a romantic person who's got a lot to say about dating. Thanks for watching this episode of Hot Seat, and hope to see you on another episode again with another elder. Until then, stay spicy.